it's New Zealand, the West Indies would certainly be capable of putting up very strong resistance. And yes, they certainly did, but they came up short. Nonetheless, the performance of the West Indies women's team as a whole is deserved to be honored and praised, because a defeat of 8 runs tells us that had 1 or 2 situation been reversed or done differently, West Indies women could have achieved the victory. So, Dale, perhaps you can tell us how you saw the situation with the women's team in the World Cup yesterday's semi-final match.
Yes, thanks again, Dennis. Valiant effort, and I think it is a game that they, I won't say could have won, but I think some errors were made there. New Zealand won by 8 runs, and they had a great start, but after that great start of 48 runs, West Indies came back very, very strongly to take 7 wickets for 56 runs in 8.2 overs. And this was thanks to Deandra Dutton's wonderful bowling and Afi Fletcher well in support. Dutton took 4 for 22 and Fletcher 2 for 23. Where I think the match got away a little bit from them is in the last 3.2 overs, where from 104 for 7, they scored 24 runs and lost 2 wickets in those 3.4 overs. May not seem like a very big deal, but it turns out to be a very big deal. And New Zealand owes a lot at that point to Isabella Gaze, a 20-year-old player who scored 20 not out in that period that I'm speaking about. West Indies started too slowly, much too circumspect. They could not manipulate the ball into the gaps. And I believe that because of that, the batters became impatient. And 3 players in particular, Shemaine Campbell, Stephanie Taylor, and Hayley Matthews, lost their wickets out of being frustrated. And it turns out that when you look at the margin of victory that New Zealand had, if they had exercised a little more patience, the victory would have been within their grasp. And Afi Fletcher showed more intent, and young Zayda James showed more intent. Matthews is a great, great player, but for some reason, she seemed extremely subdued yesterday, to the point where she only bowled 1 over. That's unbelievable. I thought that, there's no way she would have played a World Cup semi-final and only bowled 1 over. Of course, I'm not saying that is because of that why they lost, but I just think, those things really added up against us. And Amelia Kerr, the leg spinner from New Zealand, when Dutton was going great guns, and they brought in Kerr earlier to bowl her final over. They brought her in about 3 overs earlier, with the express intent was to get Dutton's wicket. And here's where mindfulness plays a big role. You have to be aware of this. And you have to be aware it's better to survive that over and just take 3 or 4 singles rather than try to hit her out of the park. Because this young lady, there are certain times you just simply have to take your hat off to your competitor. And you have to understand that Amelia Kerr right now is the top, one of the very best bowlers in the world. And she's a leg spinner and very difficult to get away because of her googly, her mastery of the googly. And so I think Dutton, if she had to play that stroke all over again, she would have probably just steered it around to square leg and picked up a single rather than try to hit her out of the ground. So I think impatience got the better of us yesterday.
Thank you, Dale. John, do you think that the injury to Chinelle Henry was something that was on the minds of the West Indian women, in that it made them somewhat morose and more introverted, in the sense that they were wondering about her recovery? I did not, or have not yet seen any information to suggest what sort of injury she sustained, but certainly the type of blow that she sustained is one that would have required that protocol that is used when players get injured during the game. So, John, do you think that that injury situation may have dimmed the enthusiasm of the West Indian women?
Dennis, it may have. But I just wondered how that ball just went through her hands, hit her in her face, as it did. I mean, things happen, and it just so happens that it was unfortunate to have lost her. But, I think overall, well, first of all, the bowling, West Indies bowled well. When you look at the figures, they gave up only one extra in the 20 overs, and I thought that was commendable. I have always felt that this West Indies women's team, the batting is their shortcoming, and if we don't have the batting to support Hayley Matthews, the ladies who can support Hayley Matthews, then whether she fails or she makes runs, we'd always come up short. When Dotting joined Matthews, well, first of all, when Stephanie and Hayley Matthews were batting, I made a note. I said, well, they can't lose their heads now. They have to try to push the ball through the spaces and get the ones. But then when Stephanie got out, I had the same comment. I said it was 81. No, it was 48 for 3 from 10 overs. So they needed 81 from the next 10. And I said, I said, well, if Dotting and Matthews can stay around the next 5 overs to take it to 15, then West Indies can open up and go after the runs in the last 55 overs. But then Hayley got out. And as a teammate, yes, it will play on the mind of players, wondering if their teammate is okay after she got hurt. But I don't know if that would be more impactful if they were fielding second or in the field or in batting. Because now you have time to sit in the dressing room with the teammate to see what's going on with her, to see if she's really okay or whatever is going on. So, no, I don't know what kind of psychological impact it might have had on the young ladies. As I say, as a teammate, your teammate get hurt, you're wondering if she's okay or he's okay, But overall, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get the few runs, because actually, when I say 129, I say we can get that. However, we came up 8 runs short, but I commend my ladies for doing so well. Before the series started, I said if we got the batting, we can give trouble in the series. So unfortunate that we fell short at the semi-final stage. But kudos to our ladies. to Haley Matthews and her team. You know, and I don't know, Dennis, because even earlier when Stephanie got hurt, what impact did it play? Did it motivate the players? Or did was it a demotivator? But I have seen comments where it seemed to have motivated the players. I saw that game that they won, then Stephanie didn't play, and I've seen a video of her jumping when we defeated who was it to get to the semifinal? You know, so I don't know. It could be a motivating factor.
Thank you, John. Junior, we noted that the team changed their batting lineup. The West Indies women team changed their batting lineup. They opened, or at least maybe not open, but Shemaine Campbell, I thought, came out of her usual position in the middle order. Was that a factor you thought that may have influenced the performance of the team itself when she got out?
Yes, certainly, certainly. And I have a very different outlook on what would have gone on yesterday. I think Stephanie Taylor should never have played yesterday because she's unfit. And the moral that the team went into the England game with was suddenly broken. And we should have kept that same team that beat England to face a lesser motivated team in New Zealand that had their trouble coming into this tournament and some way in the tournament as well. Stephanie Taylor is a good player. We have gotten a lot out of her, but we have seen during the last part of Courtney Walsh stint as coach, she has sort of lost her way a bit, and she has been troubling with a lot of injuries. And clearly, coming into this tournament, she was unfit. Broke down in the middle of the tournament, was asked to come back in a game that is so crucial. Why the team that beat England could not have beat New Zealand? Simple in my own view, because Stephanie Taylor was added to the team. Stephanie Taylor served West Indies women cricket in a very great and wonderful way. I myself is very grateful and thankful to her. But I think the West Indies team will be better off going forward without Stephanie Taylor.
Oh, those are very harsh words there, Junior. But in the light of the talent that we have at the moment, I don't see that the West Indies can do without Stephanie Taylor right now. And I must point out that my comment regarding Shemaine Campbell is not a criticism, because she is one of the most fittest, hardest working player on the women's team. I watched her chase down a ball almost to the fine leg from a leg by that the sweeper did not get to before she did. She is very athletic, very powerful, very strong. And so I do not criticize her, because she's one of my favorite female players in that West Indies team. So I want to be absolutely clear that, asking for her why she came early is not a criticism of her, and she bats well. She's very, very, energetic in everything that she does. She's a great wicket keeper, and I'm not sure that there is a finer women wicket keeper in the West Indies at the moment. So well done, Shemaine Campbell. I'm also going to ask Dale, what do you think the return of Deandra Dottin has brought to the West Indies female team?
Yes, thanks, Dennis. Dutton performed extremely well. She brought energy. I think her sparkling performances, not just with the bat or the ball, which was a great bonus, because I don't think anyone expected her to bowl overs. And then, not least, her fielding. In the field, she's so much better than everybody else. And I think that must act as a motivational tool for the other players. And then to see her come in and bat and the manner in which she bats. Yesterday I was hoping that she would have come in at number 4 instead of Stefani, because I think, to kind of, I'm not gonna say whether or not she should play or shouldn't, but Stefani could not get that ball past the fielders. She struggled mightily, and the manner in which she was dismissed with an almighty swipe was not becoming of a player of her magnitude. Mm-hmm. I was really very disappointed to see her get dismissed like that, and she struggled. I'm not going to say she shouldn't or shouldn't play. And I understand Mr. Codlin's point, because when you have a team and everybody is flying high, you have to be careful when you bring someone in to replace one of those players, whoever it may be, and the role you're asking them to come in and play. If she was going to come in and bat at number 8, like what Shadi Nation would have done, okay, fine. But to put her up there under the pressure, she just never came through yesterday. She was bogged down.
Thank you. John, do you concur with Dale regarding the return of Deandra Dutton to the team?
Something, Dennis, in every game, whether it's fielding, batting, or bowling, she has done something to help the team progress. And so she also did in the semi-final yesterday, and the game against England. That first catch that she took in that game against England, as a matter of fact, even in the World Cup, that catch, that sparkling catch that she took, I think it's in the same, basically same position. I still have on my phone and I look at it every now and then. But Deandra Dutton is an excellent talent. But I think one of the missing ingredients of this West Indies women's team now, if you look at England and New Zealand and Australia, they have maybe 3 or 4 women who can bat well and who you basically can depend on. We do not have that right now. We have Hayley Matthews, Stephanie Taylor, who has been injured, I think, more so than that in the last couple of years, of some injury that she has. And maybe should have taken some time off to get whatever that injury problem is taken care of. Kiana Joseph now seems to be coming along, but we do need, I think, 2 other women batters who can support Hayley Matthews, like what happens with the England, the Australians, New Zealand, even India, And but as I said, if we got the batting to support Hayley, we would have gone deep in this tournament, and we lost at the semi-final stage. But Stephanie, I don't know if retirement is in her mirror now, rear view mirror. She's 33 now, I think. But she has played. Stephanie has been playing cricket from when she was 17 or something like that for the West Indies. And, she has done well. And, I hope the best for her in the future.
Thank you, John. Junior, I think we can perhaps wrap this up after your comment. But do you think the West Indies selectors erred in excluding He's
You
not
know, you
muted,
muted.
but do you? Yeah, the question is,
Yeah, go ahead now. We're having some technical.
the deficiency.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's
We
for
were
a time
having
lag.
some
All right.
technical problem. Go ahead now.
In the light of the deficiency in the West Indies batting lineup, do you think the selectors erred in excluding Natasha McLean for this series?
Um, it's very sticky to answer that in all fairness to Natasha McLean, um, because you would have wanted to know what was the mitigating factors that played in her. Is it something that the JCA is saying to the regional body? Is it that she's not good enough for them? Is it that she's not in their plan? But looking at it from somebody on the outside looking in, that team needs a Natasha McLean. That team needs extra batters and bowlers that are capable of winning games for the West Indies. Just to look at Natasha McLean playing domestic cricket, what she had done for Jamaica to win the double a year ago or a few months ago, one would argue that why she's not on the plane to the United Arab Emirates. So when you look at it, South Africa beating New Zealand tomorrow, it should have been West Indies beating South Africa tomorrow if we had gotten it right.
All right, thank you. And with that, I think we can say once again, congratulations to the West Indies women's team for their great performance out there in the Women's T20 World Cup. They are coming home with their heads held high and West Indian supporters feeling in fine shape. So once again, congratulations, well done. And we